What up, my guy?
Yo, yo, yo! What's going on, dog?
Well, I don't know if I should call you Randy Savage, The Rock, Brock Lesnar. Should we go Rey Mysterio, Undertaker? What should we call you? You got all the belts, man. What we doing?
Man, listen, I'm just stacking these things up, man. I'm trying to be the undisputed world champion of the mother freaking world, dog. Of the world, bro. Of the
Okay, I'm gonna call
world.
you. All right, I'm gonna call you Bud for the rest of this. For the rest of this interview, cause you whooping feet. You Terrence Crawford. You out here whooping feet, my guy.
Oh man, trying to make it do what it do, man.
But I mean, we see the hardware. We see the hardware. So let me just
Man,
grace
these
the
things are
people.
actually heavy too, bro.
Oh no, I held that one. I know about it. So if you guys don't know what we talking about, just banter. I mean, it's no new news, but this man just conquered the unbelievable. He went back to back to back. He's serving his third term in the Oval Office of the presidential. So congratulations, my guy.
Hey man, thank you. I appreciate it, man. And hey, thank you to all the people that hit me up after the show. I try to respond to as many messages as I could, just showing the love back. So I appreciate the people that's been rocking with me, man. Y'all are why I do this, man.
Gotcha. And I was about to say I would be remiss if I didn't shout this guy out as well. I know there's gonna be people like, oh, he glazing. Nah, like I support my homeboy. Like this is this is
Right,
my guy. But I'm gonna
right.
shout out my guy for his coaching as well. Like you could talk about it, but congrats again as a coach as well. So
Yeah, man. So this is my second guy that I done put through a competition, and actually he got his pro card at presidential. So I'm super happy. I'm super happy for him, man. He looked incredible. He trusted me from day one. I told him, I was like, hey man, we're probably gonna have to get down to like the 160s for you to be competitive and get that pro card. I think we started off, he was like 190, I wanna say. So he
okay.
did the work, man. He was easy client, man. He did the work. He trusted me. He trusted the process because I made the process clear to him in the beginning. So yeah, man. So shout out to him, man.
Gotcha. Okay. So I mean we can hop straight into I guess y'all know this. You see the title. We're recapping the presidential. It was an amazing show. From top to bottom. I didn't catch the amateurs, so that's a part that I personally not going to speak on because I just don't know about that part. But I was able to kind of be on the outside of the competing side and watch bodybuilding, watch classic, watch men's physique, see the back, see what's happening in the back, like see the guys, see the energy back there. It was an overall dope experience for me. The show looked to run smoothly. I think they was moving really, really fast. So it's not like the guys were held up all day. I think we were out by maybe 1 o'clock, no later than that. So I think it was overall a great show and great experience for me.
No, absolutely, man. I agree with you. From top to bottom, the show ran smooth. Shout out to Bobby. He has some amazing people around him that still made that machine go. As people may not know, or you may do know, Bobby wasn't able to be at the show because he was having a well, his wife was having a baby boy, so he had to go take care of that. But the people that he surrounded himself with to still make that show run flawless was amazing, man.
Nah, for sure. And this is one of the shows where not even just picking up Bobby, but this is one of the shows I always try to put athletes in. I actually had two athletes in the show as well. You know, they both made it to the overall. One placed third in this class, one placed second in this class. Couldn't be more happy with it with the competition there. Of course, everyone wants to win and everybody, aim to win, right?
Right.
But the amount of people who showed up, the different bodies, the caliber of bodies that showed up, man, it was phenomenal. So
No,
hey,
absolutely.
go Eagle
Um,
strength.
Facts. And another thing that I would say about this show are the promoter. He actually listened to the athletes. I don't know if you remember, but the prior 2 years, the amateurs would go, and then the pros would jump in the middle of the amateurs, and then we would go, and then he would bring the amateurs back on. So I
Mhm.
know, a couple of the pros voiced their opinions on how the show should run. Hey, put the pros first. Let us go ahead and get out the way, and then you run the amateurs. And he did that, and I think it was, like I said, a smooth transition throughout the show.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where it's all about being progressive. It's like, hey, we did it this way. This is why we do it this way. But then also being open enough to say, hey, I hear you guys. Let's try it that way, right? And ultimately, like we said, I think it's one of the things we spoke on our platform is like treating pros like pros. And I think Bobby had did that. He put the guys first over anything. It was just like, hey, you guys are going to go first. We're going to get you guys out the way. And like I said, that helped with some of the experience of the pros as well. So
Yeah,
major
yeah,
kudos to Bobby for listening and making the changes on that.
yeah, absolutely, man. So let's dive straight into this episode, man. You had two guys to do men's physique. As we know, David Cole won men's physique. He had some strong opponents in men's physique, man. So just give me your take on that section right there, men's physique from a non-biased, point. What was the judges looking for? Do you think they made the right calls and everything?
Gotcha. So, I'm gonna put my analyst hat on. Even though I'm still in the sport, nobody come for me. I'm gonna just give you my unbiased opinion. So, David Cole won. He showed up from backstage. You could tell he had a certain level of confidence backstage. Like, guy was just walking around. He was laser focused, and I think that's what it is when you come in as the previous champ. You come in laser focused. So then when I saw from the standpoint of it being in the audience, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a good show. Like, of course, it was hyped up all throughout the year with Bobby talking. He having the Champs Up series where he had a lot of guys on, and then it was just a lot of hype. Like, we had Marcus Harris coming back with the return, and talking his talk as usual. That's just what he does. So he came back talking his talk. So you got one guy who's trying to come back and get his title. Then you have Chris, who won 2 years ago, who says it's his title, right? So you got everybody
Right.
chirping. And I mean, a lot of people say, hey, we need this in the sport. And a lot of people say, hey, I don't really care for it. But all in all, it's entertaining, regardless of whether you like it or not, right? You're going to watch it. So for me sitting in the stands, I was just like, all right, I had my guy Devontae in A class. I think Chris, who is a former presidential cup winner. And then there's the guy Desmond, who actually lives out the way out here in North Carolina. He's good guy, solid physique. I think he won the A class. He's a bigger physique. He has great shape, size. I think the only thing nothing really hurt him, but I think the one thing that when he got to the overall, I think his conditioning was just a little less than what they were looking for, right? From what I've seen with the winners. B class, I think Marcus had that class. And there's this guy. Um, I'm going to pick him up early, probably pick him up a little bit later. There's a guy I didn't know about, but I guess he competed in the PNBA. Now he's an OCB pro. Um, Instagram name is Swoley. I'll add that to the caption or whatever. But guy was solid. Like, he
His name
was
is Ollie Burton, if I'm not mistaken. I think his
Ollie.
name is
Okay.
Ollie. Yeah, Ollie Burton.
So guy looks super solid. Has a super tiny waist. So I don't think he's new to competing. He's just new to the OCB, maybe. And that's probably why he caught a lot of people off guard. Marcus is Marcus. Marcus' poster was on the back of the stage. He came in looking like the poster, right? That's what he was supposed to do. You're supposed to show up in shape. You talk stuff, you come in on shape. And then tall class, that's where you get your giants, your big guys. And I think David didn't disappoint. My client, David Jones, he didn't disappoint. And then Kai came out of that class. Kai didn't disappoint. He's wide as a barn, right? So then get to the overall. And I think the top three guys was David Cole winning, Marcus Harris 2, and then the dude Ollie 3rd place. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and when you see it from top to bottom, you look at it. I think David had a certain presence at this show that kind of stood out. And I know I call a lot of guys this catchphrase, Mr. Consistent. David is Mr. Consistent. He has crazy abs. So it's like most guys, when you stand in a face forward pose with this guy, his abs is going to probably beat you. Like, that's just what it is. Like, he got like a
Yeah.
freaking Hawaiian roll 12 pack. That's what it is. Then you got Marcus, who came back strong. I think Marcus is going to take this second place, and he's going to use this for motivation going into the Yorton. Like, I feel like he thinks he could get better. I think David think he could get better, right? And then the
Yeah.
guy that kind of like surprised everybody, and I don't think it's like it's not a slight, but nobody really knew who he was up until this show. So I think the Ollie guy, I think he's going to make a really big splash even at the Yorton, because he has a super tiny waist. He has great shape, great structure, and for his size, he has great muscularity. So I would love to see the improvements he make and see what he does here in Charlotte.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be myself if I didn't bring this up. I'm disappointed in the battle that we didn't see because, like you said, it was hype all year long. These two competitors had some banter back and forth, and unfortunately, Derek did not do presidential. He did show up, but he wasn't on that stage, and like that was the battle that I wanted to see. I wanted to see him in that lineup with Marcus, David, and everybody else. So do you think David got all the momentum going into the Yorton now since he actually did this show and it's a big man show? Do you think Derek can sneak in there somewhere and make some noise here in about what 5 weeks?
So I know we say like a lot of people try to take the presidential as a marker, right? I think David do have momentum. Like I think that is a thing where you're fresh on people's mind, you won. But the thing is, I don't necessarily say presidential is the ultimate marker because I feel like there are some hitters that didn't show up, right? Of course, Marcus showed up, David showed up. I mean, we could say the whole top nine showed up, right? But there's probably guys who are in that overall that probably won't make it to the overall in the Yorton if they're taking top two. I'm just being honest. Because like I said, the Yorton is where the best of the best shows up. And I love it when people say, "Oh, this is a marker or this is a measuring stick." Yeah, it's a measuring stick to see if you could beat the best guys this day. But I guarantee that there's going to be some probably better guys at the Yorton. I'm not saying like David Cole is one of the better guys. He proven himself. So like, yeah, if you would have beat him, then yeah, okay, you might have had momentum. But like I said, at the Yorton, it's a different ball game, and we know that.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you said that. Listen, listen. I'm just being honest right now, and some people are probably going to come for me because I'm such an honest person. If you did not do well at presidential, you are not going to do well at the Yorton Cup. This is called self awareness. And I don't know if your coach is lying to you. I don't know if the people in your circle is lying to you. If you didn't do well at presidential, you will not do well at the Yorton Cup. That's just me being honest.
All right, so I'm going to clean that up a little bit. So I think
You can clean it up
let
whatever
me
you want to
let,
do.
let me
Go
clean that up a little bit. Nah, but like I do agree to a certain extent, like right, because we just had Arnold on the show, right? And he got fourth in his class at the presidential the year before, didn't even make it to the overall. Then he pops up at the Yorton. Granted, if you guys listened to that interview, and if you didn't, please go back and listen. He came back much improved. Like his issue wasn't shape, his issue wasn't size, his issue was, hey, you didn't come in shape, like you weren't conditioned enough. He took the extra 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and came in peeled, which is very possible. You can
Yeah,
definitely get leaner, or lean in 4 to 5 weeks, if you already have a good base point. So he took that and moved forward to the Yorton and placed fourth in the show out of 32, 35 people. So you went from being top 10, top 12 to being number 4 out of 38. That's very possible. But what Jamaal is saying is if you're losing because you're not muscular enough, or if you're coming in shape, you're doing everything and you presented your best package at the presidential. And like I said, I'm not steering none of y'all away from going to the Yorton. Go there, get the experience, do what you got to do. It ain't my money. But go go there, have fun, but like you said, if you're using presidential as a measuring stick, but this sport is really about self-awareness. Like if you don't have the muscularity, if they're telling you, hey, work on your shape, or you need to improve here, improve here, improve here, it's like, all right, maybe this is stuff I can improve in 5 weeks.
no, absolutely, and we said this on the episode too. The 24 to 48 hour rule, man. After a show, take that mess serious. Do not get on social media immediately after a show and vent because you didn't get the placement you thought you deserved or you thought you fought for. All right. Did you follow the plan? Did you actually follow the freaking plan? Did you ask questions to your coach like, hey coach, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? All right. Quit asking people, quit asking people that wasn't judges for feedback. They have nothing to do with nothing. The people you need to be getting feedback from is the 5 or 6 judges that was on that panel. Lastly, this is my last thing, and then I'm gonna get off this.
I don't know where you're going. Hey, drive us home. Drive us home.
Quit seeking validation from people that wasn't even at the freaking show. That does nothing for you. Talk to your coach. Jumping in other people's inboxes. Hey man, what you think? How you think I look? Yo, their opinion doesn't matter. Talk to your coach. Talk to the judges.
And 9 times
And
out of 10, anybody you ask is on your team anyway. So you wouldn't ask them if they wasn't on your team. Like you ain't gonna just
right,
reach out to a random person. So most of the time, whenever you receive that type of advice, that person is gonna hype you up because they're just the reality of the situation is most of the people ain't really real out here and they ain't gonna tell you like, nah, you lost that one or I see it this way, right? So yeah, but good 4 points. Loved all
yeah.
four.
All right, come on. We move right along. Bodybuilding. I think this was
Bodybuilding.
the biggest freaking class that they had at Presidential. They had 21 or something like that.
It was up there. Yes, sir.
So,
So
what you think about the bodybuilding, man?
all right. So I kind of peeked my head in because I'm running back and forth, getting my steps
Yeah.
in. I got 24,000 steps that day. So I'm peeking in, running out, peeking in, running out. But if I had to say, man, that overall battle was phenomenal, right? I mean, Mecca came back with the back to back. He hit him with the Drake. Said, "Hey, we're
Yeah.
going back to back with it." Right? I
Right.
think the big surprise. I ain't gonna say big surprise because this guy been doing this for 30 years. Was Marshall. Marshall got second place, knocked these young dudes' heads off. I don't know
They ass, boy.
at the wonderful young age of whatever he is. Marshall is he's a stellar guy, super nice guy. I met him on multiple occasions. He came out there, showed out. He's a guy who shows up like a professional. He shows up in shape. He has the size. He has the structure. And he got second, over 19, 18 other guys. Like I said, Mecca's Mecca. He shows up and he has great muscle bellies. I think we had him on last year. Great guy. So he did what he was supposed to do. Unfortunately, I don't know the third place guy name. It slipped my mind. I wish I should have went and got pictures of all these. But shout out to the third place guy too. But overall, like I said, when those classes are that big, the margin of error of coming in off is very small. So, I mean, I think they got that right too.
No, absolutely. And like you said, Marshall, whenever I get that age, if I can still do this on a consistent basis, man, I, I would be completely freaking happy. That man is freaking crazy.
And I just want to have
Crazy
a
physique.
4-pack when I'm his age. Forget all the extra stuff. Like, hey, my waist ain't gonna get no bigger. I'm gonna just stay here and be aesthetic. That's it.
Right, right. All right. Moving on. Last but least, let's talk about classic, man.
You said last and least. Dang,
I
that's
said
crazy. That's your category.
so. Give us your feedback on the classic category at Presidential, man.
Gotcha. So classic for me. I was tuned into this. What was it? 3 classes of you guys as well, if I'm not mistaken. So 3 classes. I think here we had a lot of guys who came out. Like what's his name? Angelo came out. I remember him winning a show last year. I think he won Buford last year, if I'm not mistaken. Solid physique. We had Jew. We had I think Javante, who did well in Buford this year. So there's a lot of names that I knew of, but then there's a lot of names I didn't know of, right? So looking at the overall, of course, you won. You took home the crown. I think y'all had a couple, I guess, mishaps with people not coming out or something like that that made the show run a little bit unsmooth in that one little section.
Don't get me started on that.
Hey, that's what I'm gonna say is to get it out the way. So besides that, I think y'all guys showed up. I told you even after the show, there was one guy that I didn't know about, number 230. He was like a sleeper to me because I never seen the guy before. He had really good shape. He came in, I think, a little under conditioned. But I feel like overall, man, the top 3 was super solid. Like I think the third place guy, who isn't a small guy either, he held his own against y'all, and he surprised me too. Like when I saw him, I was like, oh, okay, this guy he's nice. So
Yeah,
I think
they
overall,
was calling him Baby Levi.
yeah.
they say he look like Levi.
So I think overall, like the one good thing about this show is like usually when you see a show and you see the top 3 posted or the top 3 picture, you're like, this show was solid, right? And no matter what everybody else looked like, you're like, yo, these three really battled it out. From bodybuilding to classic to men's physique, you're like, oh, this was a solid turnout. Like guys showed up at this show. And I feel that way, especially about classic. I think y'all probably had the tightest of competition. But like I said, you showed up and showed out.
What you mean the tightest of competition? It wasn't close, dog. What are you talking about, bro? Nah, absolutely though, man. It was fun battling with them guys, absolutely. And we all got 5 weeks to get better. So, I mean, I know other people that's looking to do the Yorton or doing the Yorton are looking at us saying, "Oh, okay, I'm right there." No, we still got 5 weeks to improve. So, if you thought you seen my best package at Presidential, nah,
Ain't gonna happen.
we were just knocking off the cobwebs, man, knocking off the cobwebs. So basically, just moving forward. So, do you think this show helps or hurt people going forward to the Yorton?
I mean, it really depends on how they want to take it, right? It can help anybody who is in shape, right? Because either you have to maintain your shape or you can get a little bit better, right? I think solely one of his main sayings are, when you think you lost enough weight, lose 5 more pounds, right? So all you guys are dang near your stage weight. So it's like, oh, okay, all I gotta do is dig a little bit deeper for 5 weeks. Some people just have to hold where they're at, right?
Yeah.
The people that hurt are the people who, and don't take offense to this, nobody, is the people who's like mentally fragile, right? Oh, I just took this L. There's no way I could get better. There's no way I could beat these guys. They're already ahead of me. And that's not, and there's some people who take that as like, okay, now it's time for me to hit the off season, get better, and I'll be back next year. Then there's some people who will already pay for the Yorton, so now I'm just going up to be a competitor. I'm not even going there to win anymore. But it's a game of bodybuilding where you can always get better next day. But honestly, this may hurt a lot of people morale as to, motivate them. I know whenever I take L's, or last time I took L, I was like, nah, that motivates me. All right, cool. There's so many things I could have did better, or what can I do better, right? So the people who's going to the Yorton from this show, hopefully it helps them, because hopefully it gives them that encouragement, like, oh, nah, we coming in better, and if anything, now I just got to move up in placings, right? So
Right.
that's the way I see it helping or hurting.
I get you. I agree with you.
I thought you were gonna be like, nah, it hurt everybody. Nah, but I think
no. I'm not gonna say it hurt everybody. Like I said, if you didn't have the body coming into Presidential, then me personally, I don't think you're gonna have the body going into the York. And when I say the body, like some people just don't have the shape for whatever category they're in. Uh, some people just don't have the muscle. It's just different factors. But I feel like some people can improve and place themselves better at the Yorton, but some people just don't need to show up because you're going to get scraped.
And I think the one thing that a lot of guys don't realize, and I guess we can speak from this standpoint because we both competed in the biggest Yorton, right? So the same guys that was in your class here isn't going to be in your class at the next show. So you got to get that out of your head. Like, so hypothetically, there was 3 classes and there was 6 guys in each class, and then now we go to the Yorton where it's 4 classes or 5 classes. You may have 5 or 6 guys, but they may be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like the one thing that me and David know, hey, I'm gonna be in your class. Like we know that every time me and David go against you, like we gonna, hey, all right, cool. Like we know that's the measuring stick. Like I know David's gonna come and peel. Like, all right, Eric, I know Eric gonna come and peel. So that's one of the things. But you can't really duck smoke there because, like we said, I think bikini last year they only took 1 winner from each class. So honestly, a lot of people like, oh man, I got to beat David, or oh man, I got to beat Marcus, or oh man, I got to beat this guy. And 9 times out of 10, that man ain't even in your class. So you worried about the wrong people before you even get there. The worst thing you could do is say, hey, I'm coming for you. I'm gonna beat this guy, and you don't make it out your class. And so you watching us in the overall.
You just made me think about something, bro. Listen, if you lie about your height, you a sucker. If you lie about your height when you fill out your Yorton dang on registration so you can get into an easier class, you a sucker, man. That's all
they
I'm
ducking.
say.
Oh, they literally ducking.
Man, yeah.
Like now, I'm 5'10". They literally duck it. Hey, pull out the measuring thing. You got to measure them the night
Oh
before
man,
and then put them in classes. That's what you got to do.
man, facts. But bro, that's pretty much all I got. Like I said, overall, phenomenal show. I think everybody that won was deserving. They earned it. Sorry, Bobby, you couldn't be there to witness his history. Maybe next year.
He witnessed history. He witnessed some history, so he good. He probably
Yeah,
he was watching it on live stream. I ain't gonna lie. Bobby messaged me. He was like, "Hey man, these guys looking good." I said, "Bro, what you doing?"
hey, his wife pushing the whole baby out. He watching the live stream.
Right, he over here like, "Hey, they looking good." So, hey, but I think
Oh man.
that's where, like I said, this sport brings so many people together, and even like I said, with him doing that, it showed that people who are in his circle that he has around him genuinely showed up for him, showed out. And even like I said, even with athletes, man, we have so many people who come and support us, so many people who rock with us. Even the people who watch this live, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on our Instagram page as well. But all of y'all, man, we truly appreciate it, because this sport is the reason that we're all being able to bridge the gap of, just social media, knowing people through social media and actually talking to people in person, and knowing
Absolutely.
people.
One
So,
last thing before we get off of here. Sportsmanship. If I
oh
can
man,
give if I can give one piece of advice, and this is me being 100% serious, sportsmanship. Show good sportsmanship, even if you don't get the placement you think you deserve. The judges remember how you acted whenever you come up short, and the athletes remember how you act when you come up short. No athletes want to talk to you or be associated with you if you throw a tantrum because you didn't get the placement you want. So always show good sportsmanship. I'm telling you, because people remember that.
no,
So
facts. And I think, like I said, kind of just a recap on one of our prior episodes of Recall. I think we talked about how whenever you show sportsmanship, honestly, as an athlete, like if you were to do that to me, it's almost like a slight, like I didn't earn or I didn't do what I was supposed to do to place ahead of you. So, speaking from an athlete standpoint, like speaking from a judging standpoint, you basically telling them that they don't know what they're doing, like they don't know how to do their job, right? So then, but as an athlete who's standing next to you, for somebody who probably went through the ringer just like you did, who probably prepped just as hard as you did, and you upset, it kind of is a slap in my face, because it's like, dang, buddy, think he should have beat me. Like,
yeah,
but it's not like we didn't go through the same process. So it's kind of like, it's one of those things where just remember, whatever you do on stage, man, do it outside the stage, do it off the stage, all that stuff you talk going into the show, man. Just realize that all plays a factor on the people you compete against. Because I guarantee if you talking a lot of mess going into the show and somebody beat you, they gonna remember all that stuff you said, and you probably was the reason they did what they did. You probably the reason they did the extra 10 minutes on the cardio step machine.
right.
You the reason they've been eating their diets. They was about to eat that Oreo, but then they saw your story and was like, you know what? Nah, I gotta smack this guy. Like, so it's your fault. Like, leave it. It's your fault.
Oh
So,
man.
but the one big thing is, man, we're looking to get a big guest. And when I say big guest, we're looking to get one. Yeah, big dude. So we're looking to get him on. Hopefully, this will reach him. But hey, David Cole, we calling you out. We want you on here. So we see what we can do. But yeah, until next week, y'all. We out.
Peace.